Today we're talking about creating a safe place within small group time. And before I do that, I know Ben and Alyssa aren't in the room, but that doesn't mean that I don't need to honor them. The truth is, there are a lot of really gifted communicators and speakers in this church, even in this room. So the fact that I get to do this, that they trust me with this, is like a really big deal to me, and it fills me with a ton of gratitude. So Ben and Alyssa, if you're watching this in the future, I love you guys. So creating a safe place for our students. Now, my goal by the end of this is to give you guys actual practical things you can walk out within small group time today after Donut on a String challenge, of course. So I think when we do that, it's important to define what is a safe place. Like, what does that mean for our students? It's different things to different people. So maybe to you, it's like, a safe place for me is just, it's somewhere where I can be like really vulnerable, right? Like I can like bare my scars, so to speak. Maybe it's just somewhere that you trust that you won't be rejected if people see the real you. If you are like me in the room and you are a middle child, maybe a safe place for you. It's just like, hey, I don't have to fight to be seen. Like, are there any middle children in the room? That's so depressing. There's only 2 middle children in the room. I got a hand there. Yeah, dude, middle child, let's go. But cool. So like, we create a safe space by doing 3 things within small group time. Those 3 things are acceptance, confidentiality, and honesty. So let's break those down. Acceptance, this one's really easy. This is probably things you're already doing and you actually don't even realize it already. It could be something as simple as just giving eye contact when your students are talking, right? During the question portion of a small group, you're not like just looking at the clipboard like, what am I gonna say next? Talking about their interests with them. Now, you guys have probably figured this out, but there is not a whole lot that a middle schooler and an adult or like a senior in high school have in common in terms of interests. Like, you probably don't really want to talk about like Fortnite for like the 4th week in a row, but it means a lot to our students when we take an interest in them. And I would encourage you guys when they start talking about something, even if you're not particularly interested in it, just ask questions, just try to understand it. That goes a really long way for making people feel accepted. It could be as easy as literally just being excited to see them. Like, dude, I don't know your name, but I'm so happy you're here. Like, you've been there before. When someone's like, ooh, I'm so excited to see you, it's like, that felt good. That's acceptance. That's what that feeling is. But the more people feel accepted, the more they open up. And the more they open up, the more we have to talk about confidentiality. So I know that's kind of like a scary word, but it's actually really easy. Confidentiality just practically looks like this. It's just at the start and end of every group. Hey guys, or girls, whatever we say in this group stays in this group today. Now, if it's something really, really serious, like if it's, God forbid, like a student like talking about like suicide or something like that, you go to Pastor Alyssa or Pastor Ben or Mariah or me, you get mom and dad involved, you go through the proper avenues for that. Just about anything else, you can keep it between you and your co-leader, go to leadership. Confidentiality also means that we use our discretion on what is okay to share in group. The reason for that is not because we don't want students to be honest, it's just that if a student admits something or something they're really struggling with, and another student hears it and goes and starts talking about them, that could really harm our students. And the last thing we want to do is harm our students, right? We don't want them to be embarrassed to come to church. We want them to be real when they come here. So I'm going to tell you guys a little story. I don't know why I said a little story. I'm going to tell you guys a story, and I think it demonstrates the pros of confidentiality really well. So this is years ago. This is in our high school ministry here. I had a student in my small group, and this kid was like huge jokester, right? Like could never take like anything seriously inside of group. So it's a Tuesday night. It's like midnight. It might even be like 1 o'clock. It was just one of those nights I was up like super late, just tossing and turning in bed, right? Can't get to bed. And this guy keeps calling me, and he's calling me over and over again, and I'm like, this kid is like a jokester. I know that if I pick up this phone, I'm gonna pick it up, and he's gonna be like, your mom, and then like hang up, or whatever it is like teenage boys find funny. I don't know. Like that just seemed like something he would do at the time. So eventually, like I sent him to voicemail a couple times, and he texts me, and he's like, please answer, urgent. And I'm like, all right, well, it's like, I can't rule it out, but it's like probably not the your mom joke at this point. I'm 90% certain, so I answer. Immediately when I answer, you know how when you're on the phone with someone and like something's wrong, you can just like immediately tell, like, you don't sound like yourself. So we're talking for a little while, and he's not really like bringing anything up. He's just making small talk, and eventually I'm just like, hey man, like, are you okay? Because it is like 1 a.m. on a Tuesday, and you're calling me, like, what's up? And to make a really long story short, this young man actually begins to tell me that there is another boy in our group that he has developed feelings for that are not just friendship feelings. And these two were really close. And he told this boy how he felt, and the feelings were not reciprocated. Basically, cut him out of his life completely, which is devastating to someone. Like if your best friend like stops talking to you immediately, that's a pretty big deal, right? And it was a really big deal for him to admit that. But the reason that he admitted that to me was because he knew that I was going to accept him, and he knew that there was a covering of confidentiality around that. Now, I did go to leadership, not because I was like tattletaling or like whatever, just because I was like, hey, I've never been in this situation. I was like, Ben, Alyssa, what should I do? Which is what you guys should do also. And the reason for that is we have seen just about every scenario that you can imagine in this church over the years. So we'll be able to help you. We'll be able to resource you. So if there's something that you don't know how to handle in small group, just go to someone, man. So, and to finish that story, both of those guys are still walking with the Lord, which is really awesome. Actually, they're both in college now, so I actually talked to one of them the other day. It was really cool. But I got one last point, and then we'll be out of here. Does that sound good? Yeah. All right, okay. All right, the last way we lead in small groups is with honesty, and this one is super, super easy. If we want to get honesty, we have to first give honesty. So practically what that looks like in your small group time is something that I do in my small group and Sozo is if there's a question that I feel like people are really going to like struggle with because it's hard or because it's really weighty or maybe you just don't know how they're going to respond to it, I just answer it first. And I just be as brutally honest as possible. If the question is like, how was your week? And I didn't have a good week, I'm not going to put on my church face and be like, it's great, man, I'm blessed, highly favored dude, like it's awesome. And the reason I don't do that is because when you're really honest about those things, like immediately, I'm saying like 100% of the time people go, oh, I can't be myself. Like I don't have to like pretend like I'm in church or whatever. And that's what we want because we know that when our students are open, that it makes them refine their faith. And when students refine their faith, then guess what? This isn't mom and dad's faith anymore. This isn't just a thing that I was dragged to like every weekend or every Wednesday or whatever. It's like, this is mine. Like I've refined this myself. And then they go to high school, and they stay with the Lord, and then they go to college, and they stay with the Lord, and they don't walk away, which is the goal of all this, right? That's why we're here at 9:26 on a Sunday morning, is because we care about the students, and we want them to refine their faith. Does that sound good? Come on, one more time. Does that sound good? Hey, let's go, dude. All right.